Now the first of the 24 sessions over the course of the next 3 days. This first session sets the foundation for the Talanoa in highlighting why school food environments matter in the Pacific, framing school food systems as a critical entry point for improving health, education outcomes, climate resilience, and local livelihoods. I now invite the session facilitator. We've met Jessica briefly, but Miss Jessica Ranieri, one of the founding members of the Pacific School Food Network, to lead us through this first session. Naka.
Good morning, everyone. Can I please ask the speakers for this session to come to the table? That's also you, sir. Siva and Alvina. While they are making their way up, on behalf of the Pacific School Food Network, welcome to the first session of the first Pacific School Food Talanoa. Over the next 3 days, we will explore many different aspects of school food environments, but we begin with a very simple question. Why do school food environments matter? School food environments are about much more than meals. They encompass the policies, the programs, services, education, food, agriculture, and the community partnerships that shape what children eat, learn, and how they grow every single day. They matter because they sit at the intersection of many Pacific priorities, including nutrition, education, health, livelihoods, and resilience. This session will help establish a shared understanding of the multiple benefits of school food initiatives broadly and set the foundation for the discussions that will follow today. It is now my pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Dr. Sarah Burkhart, Chair of the PSFN. Sarah.
Thank you again, everybody. I thought that I would share just a little bit about where the Pacific School Food Network has come from to set some of the scene for you, for those of you who may not be as familiar with the network, and talk a little bit about why we feel that this is such an important topic as well. Some of you may see some familiar faces in some of these photos. We actually have Arlene Mitchell, who is here with us from Global Child Nutrition Foundation. The Pacific School Food Network first came to be at that particular event in 2019. We had been working with FAO, the sub-regional office in Samoa, on a couple of projects which were looking at mapping the capacity and the current state of nutrition education activities and school food activities in the region. And we had an opportunity to take some stakeholders to the GCNF forum in 2019. And Arlene very graciously made space for us on the agenda to get together and start to think about what a network might be and what that might look like. So we have been going quite slowly. We've relied a lot on voluntary inputs from people. We've had people changing throughout the team in terms of leading this as they've moved through different jobs and different times. But I wanted to just highlight that and talk a little bit about what we have been doing in the past couple of years to tell you about that. So one of the main things that we have been working to do is to try and share Pacific stories more broadly, try and share the work that people are doing across the region and highlight how fantastic that work is. So a couple of the events that we have done recently have been providing symposiums at international events, really sharing the work. We had some work from, I think, in Japan. We had some work from Palau, Papua New Guinea, Fiji, Australia, and more broadly shared within a symposium. And then just last year, you will see some very familiar faces because I think almost everyone in these final two photos are here at the moment. We had another symposium where we shared the work that is happening across the region in school food activities. But alongside that, we've been working hard to try and put together a series of webinars. Some of you may have joined webinars online. You can go back and access all of those on our website and YouTube channel. We've been putting out some newsletters, trying to share some of the opportunities that are available that you might like to get involved with, or you might like to engage with in some way. On our website, if you haven't been there, we have a Pacific School Food Activity Database, which was developed out of an ACR-funded project a couple of years ago, where we've been attempting to try and collate what is happening in the Pacific in terms of school food activities. I think it's important to clarify we've been trying to be very broad in what we capture as being school food activities. So not just about school meals, but about any type of activity that might be being present in schools that somehow links to food and nutrition. So if you like, you can go in and have a look on that database. If you have any things that you feel are missing or need to be updated, we would love to be able to share those as well. We've also played a role in the Pacific Small Islands Developing States, or the SIDS Solutions Forum, with a workshop there. We've also taken part in the WHO regional meeting on health promoting schools for the Western Pacific. We took part in the Grassroots Partnership for Pacific Solutions event with the PFO team. We've had input at the School Meals Coalition Southeast Asia Summit and COP29. And also been able to share what's happening in the Pacific at the more recent Global Child Nutrition Forums as well. So why do we exist and where do we see ourselves going? We feel, as Jessica and we've had the Assistant Minister talk about as well, that school food environments are a very powerful entry point for improving nutrition, health, education and well-being. And we know that those initiatives can generate multiple benefits, not just within educational health, but broadly across agriculture, livelihoods, climate resilience, and social protection. We know that the school food environments extend beyond school meals. Like I mentioned, we want to be as broad as possible within the network, and we recognise that that includes aspects of food policy, nutrition education, school gardens, procurement approach, WASH, and the broader environment within and outside schools. And we also recognise that it's not just the students that benefit from these activities, it's the parents, it's the communities, and it's the broader school group, as well as teachers and principals who all benefit in some way. But we also recognise that improving school food environments requires collaboration across sectors, institutions, communities, organisations and individuals, which is really the reason that we started this network to begin with, trying to bring people together to make those connections happen, make it easier to connect, have a way and a mechanism to share what's working and what is not. And to have that network of support people that you could reach out to if you're looking to design or implement a program or an activity, and just really bring people together. So as I mentioned, we will talk a little bit about what the next steps of the network look like going forward. But I hope that that sets the scene in terms of why we're here, what we are hoping to do, and that we really see everyone as being so important to this discussion as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Our next speaker, Mrs. Elisiva Natu, NCD advisor from SPC, will share a more regional perspective on how policy, evidence and Pacific collaboration can help strengthen food systems and food environments across the region. Please join me in welcoming her.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Bulabinaka and Malolele, and I also bring warm Pacific greetings from the NCD Prevention and Control Program of SPC. They would like to express their gratitude to the organizers who have made it possible for us to be here today. And I also must acknowledge the presence of the Honorable Assistant Minister of Health, as well as colleagues and everyone who's in this room from across the Pacific from different sectors. As you would know, we are all here this week not to merely talk about policy, but to talk about, do a Talanoa kind of session where we reflect on the lived experiences that our children have been through in a way that we can move things forward and improve on it in the future. This is just to show you what the session is going to be about, but I will just move on to the next one. So our Pacific children are growing up in a very fast changing food environment. And we are currently struggling with a triple burden where we know that there is persistent presence of malnutrition and undernutrition and micronutrient deficiencies. And at the same time, we are also seeing the increase in overweight and obesity in our communities. And this is not happening in a vacuum. It is exacerbated by climate shocks, constrained resources that put immense pressure on our families, our schools, and our ecosystems. To address the interconnected challenges, we must view the school food system in a holistic way as a whole of school container, like putting everything in one space where we can try and address them at the same time. So the container allows us to link nutrition education directly to healthy canteens. It links us to physical activity and also community engagement. And when we strengthen this system, we aren't just improving or making better a lunch menu, but we are creating a critical entry point for health outcomes, for education readiness, and also for climate resilience. The NCD Prevention and Control Program of SPC works in collaboration. This is not a work that we lead on ourselves. This is a collaboration with partners, development partners. Some of them I recognize are sitting here in the room with us, like WHO, UNICEF, and everybody else who's been in this space to lead the integration of vital strands, if we can call them as such. So these are 4 strands that we would refer to that are working together, that are interweaved in order for us to progress things. So this is focusing more on what's already in existence in the Pacific that I had mentioned, the collaboration between SPC and other partners. The first one is translating policy into actions through the Pacific Ending Childhood Obesity Network. The network focuses on 4 thematic areas. One is fiscal policies. The other one is restriction of marketing of unhealthy foods and drinks to children, physical activity awareness, and also surveillance for children. So Pacific ECHO, as it's usually known, takes global recommendations given by WHO and puts them into practical multi-sectoral school food policies that can be applied at national level. The second one is looking at data. We need data to drive or to inform us of decisions that we make. And this is through the Pacific Childhood Obesity Surveillance Initiative, or otherwise known as PCOSI. And this is one of the most recent initiatives that we've started working on in the region. And that's adopted from the European version of it. And this is to generate data that's comparable and also relevant to inform the decisions regarding the children. Because it has been implemented so far in Niue and Tuvalu, and the Cook Islands have had their training and which will be followed by them actually carrying out the survey. And at the moment, as we speak, the training for Wallis and Futuna is happening. And I understand that Fiji is also planning on taking up of PCOSI as well. The third one is having the healthy foundations, where you utilize healthy Pacific school networks to ensure environments support healthy choices, like where we are today. And the fourth one would be the Early Childhood Development Forum, which happens every other year. And this is being led by UNICEF and also the Pacific Forum Secretariat. And their focus is ensuring nutrition care is prioritized early on in life. So after having said that, it'll be just briefly to share on some experiences that we've come across in the years, looking at national models that highlight the strong policy, how we need strong policy architecture in order to progress on things. So just briefly on Fiji and Tonga. So this is looking at different models that the two countries had adopted in order to promote healthy eating within the school compound. So Fiji has the school canteen policy framework, which established a joint governance between the Ministries of Health and Education, and the implementation mechanism was the interministerial coordination that was in place and established. For Tonga's school food policy, the 2020-2025 version, the focus was on comprehensive school food environments, and the implementation mechanism was having clear tools for implementation and also for monitoring. Sorry. We're almost there. Okay. So when we look at these experiences, they highlight priorities for consideration in the Talanoa that we are going to be looking at in the next couple of days. So we need to consider things like policy adherence, local food and learning pathways, stronger data and accountability, financing models that reduce duplication and scale what the communities truly value. So as we come to looking at the plan that we are going to work on in this week, in this few days, we must ask ourselves on how do we make these systems sustainable and how do we make them resilient? And the suggestions here is we need to bring to focus on procurement of local foods. We need to make sure that the local foods we have are fresh and culturally relevant. We need to value the indigenous knowledge that we have embedded within us, and also community leadership at the forefront is a critical factor in this. Our response also needs to be gender responsive, rooted in our culture, and combined with scientific evidence and methods. So to finish it off, it would be in our journey towards a Pacific-driven roadmap in the Talanoa that we'll be doing in the next couple of days. We need to look at the existing networks that we have. We have existing networks, we have existing platforms and frameworks, and to identify the overlaps, try to bridge the gaps with stronger partnerships so that our school food systems nourish our children, our communities, and our ecosystems. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Siva. We continue to hear that the Pacific countries are not working in isolation. There is tremendous value in regional cooperation and coordination, but also in connecting the Pacific to global movements and partnerships. The School Meals Coalition has emerged as one of the most significant global platforms for advancing school food and nutrition, bringing together governments and partners around a shared vision for children and schools. To introduce this to us, it is my pleasure to welcome Mrs. Alvina Karan from WFP, speaking on behalf of the School Meals Coalition. Please bear with me. Do anything. Doesn't matter how many IT, IV checks we do, there's always inevitably something exciting to keep us on our toes. While we are waiting, we never mind. Thank you, Alvina.
Yeah, so that's just to help with the butterflies that I already had. Honorable Assistant Minister and Dr. Sarah and Jess, thank you for the invitation. And I'm very glad, Assistant Minister, sir, you are here, because this presentation is actually to encourage the countries to join the School Meals Coalition. So I am no expert. There are a few experts who have much more knowledge about the coalition who are members of it already. But on behalf of the team in Rome, who are the secretariat, I've been given the task to share this information with you. So the coalition is basically a government-led partner-supported program, and it is a country-level program to support around school feeding. And it is focused on multi-sectoral action and partnerships, and something that we are actually going to be doing in the next 3 days, focused on evidence-based actions and creating networks. Now, what it is not is a UN-led initiative. So it's not a WFP program, UNICEF or FAO program. It is your program. And it is not a new structure or any new organization. It's been in existence, and it's also not a funding mechanism where you become a member to get support in terms of finances. However, you can search the flags that on the screen. Unfortunately, nobody from the Pacific is a member for the School Meals Coalition. There are 113 countries at the moment with 6 regional bodies, but Pacific is yet to join, and I'm really hopeful that in years to come, some of us would be signing up for the coalition. So there's a few members and partners. So 159 partners are supporting the coalition and categorized according to NGOs, academia and think tanks. There's foundations, networks, multilateral organizations, banks and agencies, as well as some cities who are part of it as well. Can you find Pacific School Food Network? You get a double cup of coffee. So there's here. If you just saw my little circle pop up, so Pacific School Food Network is a signatory to the coalition, and the UN agencies who are members of it as well. Now, the School Meals Coalition, the goal is very simple, for every child to receive a healthy, nutritious meal in school by the year 2030. And 2 simple objectives. One is to reach the most vulnerable and to improve our approaches in terms of efficiency and quality of school meals programs. Now, how the coalition works. So the Secretariat is the World Food Program. However, we have the countries, or it chairs the partnership groups, which is WFP is the chair. And the working group is chaired by countries. So at the moment, Brazil, Finland, and France are part of the working group. And there is a task force group, which is by 12 member states, and the chairs are interchanged between Brazil, Finland, and France. And there's 4 initiatives that comes out from the coalition, which is the research consortium, the sustainable financing, data and monitoring, the cities feeding the future, and school meals accelerator. I'll dwell on it a little bit later. So in terms of achievements, there's some just that has been put on the slide as a snapshot. So we have Brazil, which is the current chair, has the summit, they chaired the 2nd Global Summit for the coalition in 2025, And through the coalition, they've managed to strengthen their national school feeding program. Government of Cuba has strengthened its food and nutrition education program and increasing locally sourced food for their school meals program. Similarly, a government of Armenia has also expanded its school meals coverage nationwide and strengthened its healthy meals program for their grades 5 to 9. Government of Laos also has ensured the sustainability of school lunch programs. So this is just in the recent few years of within the coalition. So in terms of being members to the coalition as a country, so I'm glad we have government reps in the room, and Honorable Assistant Minister Fiji may would want to sign up. So the main steps is very simple. The step 1 is signing the declaration of commitment, and step 2 is making a commitment. So how do we do that? It needs to be by the highest level of government, at the president level, or in contexts where this is not possible, the declaration can be signed by the minister. So it's simple as that. The forms are already available, and at the end of the presentation, there's links as well to get these forms as well. Once this is signed, there's an assignment of a technical focal point, who is then the liaison person joining the coalition meetings, receiving news and updates. And also there's a big media or a publicity event in terms of announcement of membership, so that it's shared across the channels and showcased on the School Meals Coalition website. And step 2, this is around the national commitments. This is just a simple work plan in terms of what is the government going to do around supporting school meal programs. So in terms of scaling up or improving national programs, and there are some categories, or 6 simple categories. You can do a commitment for all the 6, or you can choose one of the 6 commitments around policy, financing, institutional commitments, or around program design and coverage, evidence and data generation, and advocacy and partnerships. So it's up to the government to decide on which commitment. And there's more guidance as a hyperlink on the document as well for later. And why join the coalition as a country? Just briefly, as a global network, I know we are all members of the Pacific School School Food Network, but as a coalition, you become a member of a bigger global network. So this event itself is a very expensive exercise. It wouldn't be possible with support, but then you have this opportunity through the coalition to reach a bigger group of members and partners around it. Learn from others, countries that face similar challenges at the other side of the world, engage in initiative benefits, technical expertise, sharing own experiences, because somebody else or some other country can learn from what we are going through as well. And also joining online working groups. And this translates to developing school food solutions and identifying sustainable solutions that we can scale up. Now, these were the 5 initiatives that the coalition supports. So the first one is led by the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine on the research consortium. So this is a think tank. Academics are part of this initiative. The second one is around sustainable financing, which I believe PSFN has engaged with as well, around efficiency in financing, funding arrangements, and increase their fiscal capacity. The third one is around data and monitoring initiative, which is led by WFP on maintaining school meals database and making much better use of data.
The fourth one is around cities feeding the future. So I see it similarly to our Healthy Islands concept. So this is around cities and led by the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact around making our municipalities to help support school meal programs. And the last one, which is the School Meals Accelerator, which is quite a new initiative on scalable, sustainable national programs for mobilizing partners. Now, we also have some partners in this room. So I wanted to also share for partners who are in the room who want to be members of the coalition. So similarly, it is also a declaration of support, which just needs to be signed by your CEO of the organization. And once signed, the partners will be invited for bi-monthly partner meetings. And similarly, like the Pacific School Food Network, you are then able to expand your reach around supporting governments to implement school health and national nutrition programs, amplify visibility of their projects, and also organize regional and thematic events such as this one. Some key events around the School Meals Coalition that's on the calendar. So around Q1, there was some initiatives in, I won't go into each and every one, but the Pacific School Food Talanoa is also on the calendar event in terms of sharing it to their network. So there's also interest to share what is happening from here in this coalition website as well to share with the other partners. And also in Q3, there's some key events, and Q4 is around the ministerial meeting for the School Meals Coalition that is happening in Rwanda, and also in Philippines, which is around the Southeast Asia regional meeting to promote school meals. So this is the key links that you will have access to, where if you are interested to join, the Secretariat's emails are there and the website, and you can just Google School Meals Coalition and the website pops up. And some key members who are the coalition secretariat in the different initiatives, which is also on the link. So just to sum up, a healthy meal for every child every day is what the coalition aims to do. There's a video which is 4 minutes, but I'll leave it for you to watch it at your leisure. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you, Alvina. I really do hope you all consider how you can join the SMC, but also any questions, you can come to us at PSFN. We're happy to support you along the way. Thank you to all our speakers for kicking us off today and giving us the energy and motivation to get going. In the interest of time, I will leave it there, but I would do invite Angela back to carry us forward. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.